Yeah. Call to order City of Forest Park Council meeting number 1338, June 17th, 2019. Let's stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Burns.
Here.
Collins. Herbie.
Here.
Holt.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Nuss.
Motion to excuse Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, I would move to excuse Councilwomen Collins and Nuss.
Second.
Been moved and second that we excuse Councilwomen Collins and Nuss. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to excuse, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those ladies are excused. It's possible that they will be here later. Item number 2 is the minutes. You will receive a copy of the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, we go to item number 3, presentations, business of the month, AAA, Bob Sumerel, Tire Service. Mr. Paul Brent.
Mayor, members of council, thank you very much. It's that time of the year. Many of us are planning summer getaways or vacations, and if your family's like mine, that may include driving to your favorite destination. Probably need to plan that trip, get the family car ready. Well, we are very fortunate here in Forest Park because you can accomplish both of these tasks with one stop. At AAA Bob Sumerel Complete Car Care, you can access all of the services both companies have to offer. Trained, experienced mechanics handle automotive repair, tire, and service needs. And of course, AAA has long been recognized as the best name in travel. Their team can help you with every aspect of the trip planning process. Together, the two provide everything you need to plan and complete that summer trip. AAA Bob Sumerel delivers extensive auto repairs to satisfied customers, and their certified mechanics focus on building strong customer relationships and providing the highest quality of workmanship on each and every repair. Whether you're going on a road trip or simply need to bring your car in for some much-needed maintenance, the pros of AAA Bob Sumerel can help. Call to make an appointment, visit their website for more information, or simply stop in to their shop on Chase Plaza Drive. You can find out what many of your neighbors have already learned, especially myself. I've been there quite a bit. AAA Bob Sumerel is your one-stop shop for your auto and travel needs. I don't believe anyone was able to join us tonight from Bob Sumerel, so I will make sure that they receive this award. Thank you, Mayor.
The next item on the agenda, item number 4, is communications from the public. This is the time for citizens to comment on matters before council or to ask questions of concern to them. When recognized, please come forward to the podium, give your name and address, and then state your comments or questions. Council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcriptions. Comments are limited to 5 minutes. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address council?
Hi, my name is Sean Davidson, and I'm the branch manager of the Forest Park Branch Library of the Public Library in Cincinnati and Hamilton County. At my last visit to council, I spoke to you about all of the activities and services that were taking place at our branch library. And today we're still a hub of activity. Our after-school homework help sessions have nearly doubled compared to the previous year. Technology activities have introduced our young people to coding, 3D printing, and robotics. Our staff are always busy assisting job seekers with creating resumes and applying for positions online. And we are currently in the midst of our popular Summer Adventure program, in addition to preparing for our branch's 50th anniversary in the Forest Park community on September 14th of this year. Also during my last visit, I spoke about the then upcoming levy vote and the need to address our aging facilities across the county. Thanks to the residents of Hamilton County and the successful levy campaign, the library as a whole will receive approximately $19 million in additional funding for the next 10 years. This is our first budget increase in nearly 20 years. Given that the average length of time since a branch has been renovated is 40+ years, The bulk of this funding will go toward improving each of the library's 41 locations. To ensure that taxpayer funds are used ethically, efficiently, and effectively, the library will work with experts to create a facilities master plan. The development of the plan will take place throughout 2019, and the library will work with consultant Group 4 and the local company Design Impact to hold hundreds of community engagement sessions to listen and learn from the community about what their biggest needs are and how the library, among all of its 41 locations, can be re-envisioned to serve not just today's generation, but also generations to come. And this is where everyone in this room comes into play. The community listening session for the Forest Park branch has been scheduled for Wednesday, July 10th at 6:30 p.m. I would love to see all of you there at the session to hear directly from community members and maybe even share your own thoughts about the future of the library. And if you're unable to attend, please share with everyone you know about the sessions. I would genuinely really like to see a great turnout at the Forest Park branch in the community listening session. Library staff, including library administrators, will be attending, and this will be an enormous opportunity to be involved with shaping the future of the library and in this community. I do have to leave, but I will leave some handouts on the chair there and some business cards. So please get the word out. Again, we'd love to have a large group of people sharing their thoughts and how we can move forward in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Davidson. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council? Excuse me, Mr. Davidson. I have
Will
one
there
question.
be information or marketing for this meeting?
Absolutely. In addition to marketing at the branch, we will be sending out targeted emails to folks who are registered at the Forest Park branch, in addition to social media. And hopefully I can get into some contacts at the city too to maybe get it on the board or any of the outlets that are available.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
Sean.
Mr. Davidson?
Mr. Davidson, if you could give me a call maybe tomorrow, and we can talk about how we can get the word out for you. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Monique Mason-Halter, 154 Junefield, Green Hills. I've spoken at 3 Forest Park Council meetings before now about 4G and 5G small cell technology being installed in or near residential neighborhoods. A fiber line was installed last year on Sharon Road across from my Green Hills neighborhood, but Verizon hasn't installed the small cells yet.
Excuse me, what was your name again?
Monique Mason-Halter. Would you like me to spell it?
Yes.
M-O-N as in Nancy, I-Q-U-E. Last name is M as in Mary, A-I, S as in Sam, E, N as in Nancy, H as in hat, A as in apple, L as in Larry, T as in Tom, E as in every, and R.
Okay.
I'll start again. I've spoken at 3 Forest Park Council meetings before about 4G and 5G small cell technology being installed in or near residential neighborhoods. A fiber line was installed last year on Sharon Road across from my Green Hills neighborhood, but Verizon hasn't installed the 5G small cells yet. In February, as far as I can tell. In February, telecom industry representatives gave congressional testimony that they have no scientific evidence that 5G is safe. Elected officials in different parts of the country are challenging its installation, including at the local level. I'm here tonight to ask you to do what elected officials in Hallandale Beach, Florida already did. Pass a resolution urging state legislators and the federal government to study the health effects of 5G and to develop guidelines to protect the health and welfare of residents. I asked the same thing of the Hamilton County Commissioners at one of their meetings last month. I've also contacted Jessica Miranda, our state rep, and sent all of this information to her and much more. Perhaps you could reach out to these folks too and work together to get something done to protect residents here. As you know, Ohio House Bill 478 went into effect last year. It prevents municipalities from stopping small cell installation. Federal legislation was also passed that eliminated. The federal legislation has been challenged by many since then. It also hasn't prevented other Americans and elected officials from trying to stop or at least reduce installation. Some of my neighbors and I were interviewed for a WCPO John Mattery story because we don't want small cells in our neighborhood. Hamilton County engineer Ted Hubbard was also interviewed for the story. The engineer's office wants to know who the owners are of infrastructure that is being installed in public rights-of-ways. I'm asking you to also work on overturning Ohio House Bill 478. I've asked the same of the Hamilton County Commissioners and Jessica Miranda. Again, maybe you can all work together. There is research confirming that 5G is not safe and that exposure to all sources of cell phone and wireless radiation is not safe. It can cause diabetes, kidney disease, mental health issues, respiratory health issues, violence, increased cancer risk, much more. American Academy of Pediatrics and other health experts have warned that exposure is especially harmful to children. Other warnings about 5G include cybersecurity risks. It's come from security experts, including the former National Security Council director. More recently, the U.S. Navy, NASA, NOAA, and American meteorologists have warned that 5G will severely reduce the accuracy of predicting the weather, and large urban areas like ours will be impacted first. Utility companies have also warned the Federal Communications Commission that 5G will interfere with their smart grids and smart meters. I'm part of a local group called Southwest Ohio for Responsible Technology, or SWORT. You can find links to all of what I've been talking about on our Facebook page. I'd also like to bring up LED streetlights.
Excuse me. As you said in your opening, you've been before us a number of times with this issue. We responded as best we can. I would suggest that, if you have something to report back to us based on the information that you've gotten from what we suggested you do, we'd be happy to listen to that. But I don't, we've made our decision based on what our legal people are telling us, and that's where we are.
I came tonight to tell you about what elected officials in Hallandale Beach, Florida did.
But, yeah, I understand that, but we're not in Hallandale Beach, Florida.
I thought I had 5 minutes.
No, you have 5 minutes to tell us new things, but not what you told us before.
I did tell you new things. I told you about
This is
the
not gonna be-
cybersecurity
This is not
risks.
going to be a debate. So if you want to tell us the result of your searches, if you've had conversations with your members of Congress and you have information from what they've told you, if you have had conversation with your legislatures of anything new that we can do based on what they've told you, we'll be more than happy to listen to that.
Great, then I will finish. And I respect what you have to say. I'm trying to finish because I thought I had 5 minutes.
I've already.
And I'm bringing you new information because
I've made the statement. I'll give you a minute to go ahead and finish your statement.
I'm asking you to consider LED street lights. They aren't eco-friendly just because they save energy. The American Medical Association and other health experts have warned against installing them in communities due to serious biological and environmental health issues. I don't know if you've installed them here yet or not. Many local neighborhoods have done that. However, Dwayne Pullman of Local 12 produced a segment about the dangers of LED streetlights. This was back in 2016, and you can find it online. Again, saving energy is not environmentally friendly if it hurts people, animals, and nature. I hope you will consider all the information I provided to you tonight, even if it doesn't coincide. I don't understand what you're asking of me, but I wanted to let you know that other people in different parts of the country are still trying, despite the fact that you have been advised not to do anything else. That's why I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to address council? Seeing no one, we will now There's a motion. Councilwoman Herbie.
I would move to amend the agenda and take up at this time items F and G under new business, motions to appoint candidates to boards or commissions.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we amend the agenda and take up items F and G on the new business. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on the motion to amend the agenda?
Burns.
Yes.
Herbie.
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Motion to amend the agenda passes 5-0. So at this time, we will take up item F under new business, and there would be a motion. Councilwoman Holt.
Yes. I would like to make a motion to appoint Ms. Sonia Fraser to the Environmental Awareness Board of Directors for the term expiring 11/30/2019.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we appoint Ms. Sonia Fraser to the Environmental Awareness Board of Directors for the term expiring 11/30/19. Is there any discussion?
No, thank.
Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
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 Opposed? I think we'll do item G, and then I'll swear them both in.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to appoint Mr. Steve Herbold to the Environmental Awareness Board of Directors for the term expiring 11/30/2019.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we appoint Mr. Steve Herbold to the Environmental Awareness Board of Directors for a term that would expire 11/30/19. Is there any discussion?
None, thank you.
Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And at this time, I would ask Ms. Fraser and Mr. Herbold if they would come to the podium, please. Hello. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Would you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, and state your name.
I state name.
Your name.
Oh, sorry. Sonia Frazier.
Do solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the
of
United States
the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Ohio
of the State of Ohio
and the City
and the City
Charter
Charter
of Forest Park, Ohio,
of Forest Park, Ohio,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
as a member of
as a member of
the Environmental Awareness
the Environmental Awareness
Board of Directors.
Board of Directors.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Go ahead, you first.
I could say something?
Sure.
I'm very happy to be, I'm very happy to be nominated and to get my picture, not my picture, and to get my, be sworn in by the mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hold on just a minute.
Yeah, this is my second term in this position, and my schedule has changed so that I can give more time to it. And I've always been environmentally aware and connected and supportive, so hopefully we can do some good things.
Is a token of our appreciation for your volunteering. And
Thank you.
Thank you again
Okay.
very much.
Okay.
Appreciate you joining. Thank you.
Thank you both for volunteering.
If you would, you're welcome to stay, but if you need to leave, you can do that out. Seems like there might be a little pause in the rain.
Get out while you can.
But you're welcome to stay if you'd like. Next item on the agenda is item number 5, report of standing committees. The first of these being Ways and Means. Councilwoman Herbie.
I have no report at this time.
Questions for Councilwoman Herbie? Hearing none, Councilwoman Herbie, I have no items on the agenda for you for the work session on the 24th. But however, I do understand that there will be a Ways and Means Committee meeting prior to that, and there will be a presentation from Ways and Means at that meeting, at that council meeting. Next committee report is Community Development. Mr. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have no report, but if there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Any questions for Mr. Burns? Hearing none, Mr. Burns, I have no items for you. Do you have any to add?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Law Committee, Councilwoman Collins is absent. Anybody from her committee have a report for her? I have no items on the agenda for her for the meeting. Item D, Human Resources Committee, Councilwoman Holt.
I do not have a report tonight, thank you.
Any questions for Councilwoman Holt? Councilwoman Holt, I don't have any items on the agenda for you. Do you have anything to add?
No, I do not.
Item E is Public Improvement and Facilities, Councilwoman Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do not have a report at this time.
Any questions for Councilwoman Moore? Councilwoman Moore, I have no items for you. Do you have any to add?
I do not.
And Councilwoman Nuss is absent from Public Safety. Anybody on her committee have a report for her? Next report is Intergovernmental Relations and Communication. That is my committee. I have no report at this time. I'll answer any questions if there are any. Brings us to item number 6, the mayor's report. I have no report at this time. However, going back to the meeting, the work session on the 24th, we hope that all council members can be present at that meeting. We will be getting, I believe, an update on the city finances, and we will be starting our discussion on the strategic plan. So if there are no questions, we will move to item number 7, the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We, all of the departmental reports are in, and they're available for public comment and for review. From a meeting standpoint, I did attend the OKI meeting last week, and it was very informative. And one of the things that, speaking with some folks afterwards, Safe Way to School grants, we're looking at participating with some of those with the schools in terms of their new buildings. So we'll be talking about that with the schools. We had a meeting today with their facilities folks, and hopefully we'll be able to help them out with some of that stuff. Our community report for 2018 is coming together, and we should have it available by the end of the month. We plan on having our new website again. It's up in test and so forth. It's being updated as we speak. We hope to have it available by the end of the quarter. If there's been some questions as to some of the things on the website, so this would be a good opportunity to update the look and freshen it up, and so that is in progress and hopefully be done by the end of the quarter. Finally, the fire union. We had fact-finding with them about 2-3 weeks ago, and we expect to have the fact-finders report, I believe, at the next council meeting. We'll have, I believe, 7 days to act on it, so as soon as we get it, we'll make sure the council, we'll brief council on it, and make sure that everyone's aware of it, but there will be a requirement to act rather quickly after we receive that, or not act, but at least we need to discuss it. Other than that, questions, I'm available.
Any questions for our city manager?
I got one.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had the opportunity to read the emails that you got regarding property maintenance from some of the citizens?
I did read the emails that we received, and I'm waiting to, Chris answered some of those today. I did read all of those emails, quite frankly. And I will address that, I can address that right now in terms of the questions. The questions mainly were related to the grass ordinance. And the answer to that is yes, the city is 100% has to comply just like every other citizen. The schools have to comply. The library has to comply. I talked to their facilities guy today and told him basically the same thing. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander, and the answer to that is we should not have tall grass anywhere on any city facility that would be in violation of any grass ordinance. If it is, it'll be cut as soon as we notice it. I can't imagine it not happening unless it rains for 40 days and 40 nights. They can't get the mowers out. With regards to some of the property maintenance issues, tall grass in the back, garbage cans at or about the front of the house, cars parked illegally, cars parked over the driveway. Again, we've talked to the police today about it, to the chief, and those are priority items that will be moving forward with a increased enforcement, to say the least. So that's the answer to the questions I saw in the email, I believe. I think that I think one individual did have a address, and Chris's response basically is, and this is for everyone, that email address is not a city email address. That FP site is ran by Waycross. We monitor it and we obviously look at it. But any individual citizen that has a complaint or has a question should really address it directly to the city and to the city enforcement folks. So putting someone's address and saying, hey, why don't you go inspect this on a public forum is probably not the best way to go forward. And we're monitoring it, we're looking at it, but we're suggesting that any individual that has a particular address that they'd like us to take a look at, or a situation that they'd like us to take a look at, give us more information than just saying, hey, I called the city and told them 2 years ago that this was going on, which is what some of those responses were, actually. So I have read it. Those are our responses. And I was going to hold off till after the meeting tonight to really give a full-blown answer to everyone's concern as to how we're going to implement the new grass ordinance.
Okay,
Chris did answer those.
Okay, because the overhang on the sidewalk has been really been a real big pet peeve of mine, and I know I used to walk Kemper and have approached an officer about the cars hanging over the sidewalk, and absolutely nothing was done. So
That's not going to happen anymore. Again, was a discussion this morning in our staff meeting and after the staff meeting. The chief has already talked to his police department and told them to, start issuing warnings, go and knock on the door and tell people, hey, you got to move your car. That's once we start with all of the enforcement, that warning is going to be gone. We're going to have to enforce it, particularly in the summer. So it is a priority, and if a policeman can get out of their car and go knock on the door and say, hey, you're violating the law, and then they move it, that's one thing. But if there's repeated and the policemen notice it all the time, then they're going to have to just cite the car. So parking over grass, parking over sidewalks, disabled cars parked on city property, on streets, or even on public property in plain view. Trailers, that's been addressed. And garbage cans sitting in front of people's garage doors when they know they shouldn't do that. Garbage cans sitting out on days and garbage sitting out on days when it's not your garbage day and the next day. Those kind of things, they sound kind of picky. And I've told, the staff that it's important. And I've reiterated it from day one. And I think they know it. So now it's just a matter of implementing and making sure that the word gets out that it's not going to be acceptable. And it never was acceptable. It's just, it's just a priority in terms of things that we need from our standpoint. I said this today in our staff meeting. Number one, I've met a lot of folks since I've come here, and a lot of Chamber of Commerce people, regular people. I've gone to, I think, every board and commission meeting at least once, and I've spoke to the regular citizens. Obviously, these are people who are involved, and every single one of them that has said anything, what do you need, what they would like to see, every one of them is that type of complaint. It's not crime, it's not whatever, it's that. It's those things, there's 5 things that are, seem to be things that this community as a whole want taken care of. So I think it's not, something that we can overlook. I think it's something we have to pay attention to because the community wants these things enforced. And it's, it's safety as well. I mean, you can't ask, folks to have to walk out in the street to get around a car that's parked on your sidewalk. And neighbors shouldn't do that to each other. So hopefully, we'll get that kind of community spirit where people, don't want to do that. And if they're there for, 2 minutes, that's one thing, and they're in and they're out. But if they're overnight, if they're there for long periods of time, they need to figure out a better way to do it and not be over the sidewalks. And you're right, bushes over the sidewalks is another one. Where they get your hedge trimmers and let's cut them. And I'm okay with that as long as, so I think from a city manager standpoint and city council standpoint, the message has gone out to the troops that this is a priority. These things are a priority. And we need to get that out somehow to the community as well. That's one of the things that I think we could do better as a community in terms of being able to put the word out. I don't know how you get the word out because we don't have a real communications mechanism other than, through, going door to door. But we're going to use our website, our email addresses that we have. We have a lot of email addresses, and send out emails to everyone that we can that's going to say, hey, here's the new rules for the grass. Also, they've got these other rules that we've had on the books for a long time. They're a priority. This summer, let's see if we can do a better job as a community, and the citizens and the police are going to enforce it, and our inspectors are going to enforce it. So.
Okay, thank
Hope
you.
that answers the question.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions from anybody else? Mr. Burns?
Yeah, I just want to make sure I understand the response or the stance on the listserv and FP News, because that particular service historically has been a communication tool that has been exploited both by the city and the citizens.
Right.
So I'm a little bit confused by the response that it's not an official channel.
It really is a channel that we will accept and use. It's something that we don't control. It's something that we monitor. It's not run or operated by the city.
It's never been run or operated.
That's what I'm saying, but
Right.
it is a way to do it. We would prefer that if you have a complaint to issue as a citizen, that you contact the city directly. Now, if you want to say 123 Green Street has garbage cans in their front yard, and you want to post that on the news there, that's okay, and we'll see it. But that's not a preferred way to handle these types of things. This is a way of communicating general knowledge, general things, and things that are for the entire community. So we can use it, but it's not, I don't think it's the best way. And it's not going to be something that we would tell people, we're not going to point people there to communicate to us.
Right, I get that. And the only reason I bring that up is because the history of that, the gentleman that started that initially, started as a service to the city. And he subsequently passed, and Waycross took it over with the assistance of some of the technologists of the city.
No doubt.
So I'm a little bit, I understand your point, right? But when you look at the fact that our employees actually use that to communicate out to their citizenry,
Yes.
our employees respond to our citizenry through that as well. But I think what I'm hearing you say is when you have specific issues, it should be posted in a more efficient manner.
Yes.
Directly to the city versus bringing those specific issues up on a public forum.
Yes, that's our preferred way. It's not something that we're going to do away with. It's something that is a good two-way communication channel. In fact, it's our only two-way communication channel, quite frankly. But it is something that we're monitoring more than using. I don't want to get involved in a 20-person back and forth, email thread that keeps going and going and going. I don't think that produces any results, but
I guess
we will continue to use it.
And I would just urge that, or consider some of the other tools that are out there that are being used by other communities that are not monitored, and they devolve into something that you really don't want.
No.
So the benefit that we have is that we do monitor it, and it stays above board, it stays progressive, it stays looking forward, and I think that's what we would like to see.
I agree with that. I've had a lot of discussion with the folks that run that in the city, with our IT and Rachel and some of the other folks that really are in charge of watching it. Right. And so we've got a process. Actually, we did kind of move it from IT to the front desk, where they, now it's being monitored by 3 people, and I get a carbon copy of everything, and they're CC'd on everything that hits there, and so we are, and then we're distributing it out to the right departments so that they can answer that. Chris was off on Friday, so we didn't answer the lady on Friday, so that's why I answered her today. But it was a long email thread that was going out. But in any event, you're right. The history, it has not devolved into something that we don't want, and I think it is because it's being managed by the city, and the people there are fairly courteous to each other. I've seen some, well, maybe 2 or 3, what I would say are really just kind of, come on, man, posts. But more or less, they're really trying to be, they're not all positive, but they're trying to be constructive, Yeah.
Having been on council for as many years as I have has made me hyper aware of things when I see them in the community. My first line is to call and just report it. And that's what I think we want our citizens to do. They're the eyes and the ears for the community and their neighborhood and where they live. If they see something, just pick up the phone and call and report. I saw a street sign down. I saw, these trees that were impeding the ability to see the stop sign. Or I saw this in the roadway. There was a piano down on Hanover one day. I mean, just pick up the phone and call and just report what you see. And it goes for crime as well. I see a suspicious person that's been wandering around here aimlessly. Those are the kinds of things that we want our citizens to do, is to feel comfortable in doing that. So.
Normally, if most of the responses are, from our standpoint, are, if you saw that, hey, please call us and give us more information. Here's our policy. But we're really asking for more information from the citizens, too, to get more direct. So eventually, we've had a big discussion on communication. And it's a ongoing process as part of our email or our website. The ultimately we'll be to a situation where I want to be is we have to have things that are on apps or on a phone. 10 years from now, the people that are going to be running around, they won't know how to use a computer. They'll never hear of email. Of course, they'll hear of it. But if you're not able to do it on a phone, they're not going to be able to do it. So there are a lot of programs and apps right now that are becoming popular in the city management realm that are addressing some of this. The issue is operationally the back end of it. We could get an app all day long, but who's going to monitor it? What are we going to do with it? Setting expectations in terms of when are they going to get a response? Is it instant? Most people think if you text something or you put something out there, you're going to instant response. And what kind of responses could we do? So we don't want to put ourselves pin ourselves into a corner where we have an expectation of instant gratification from people who send things to us, and we're not able to respond on the back end because we don't have the process in place yet. So that's where we're at in terms of the website and so forth, and hopefully we can get to a point where a lot of this is done through apps and we're able to shift that information directly to someone who can actually take action. If it's a public works issue, it goes directly to someone in public works. If it's a police issue, it goes directly to someone in police. So that's kind of where we're at, and that's the ultimate end game. But the backbone of all of this will be our website. And hopefully we can get that thing up and running here in the next couple months to the upgraded new system that'll have some of the things that we want to do.
Okay, we'll move to item number 8, other reports. First of those, Law Director, Mr. Wyckoff.
Mr. Mayor, I do not have a report tonight, but would answer any questions.
Any questions for the Law Director? Hearing none, thank you, sir. Next report, Clerk of Council, Mrs. Boyd. I almost said the other one.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to report the ordinance numbers 18 and 19-2019 and resolution numbers 13 through 16-2019 were posted as required. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Ms. Boyd, would you make yourself a note that at the next council meeting, which will be the July 1st, that we will have an executive session probably after that meeting?
Okay.
Thank you. Next item is item number 9, new business. Is there a motion? Councilwoman Herbie.
I would move to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate days and read for the first time by title only, ordinance number 20-2019.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate occasions and read for the first time by title only, ordinance number 20-2019. This ordinance was posted 6 days prior to the meeting. The clerk, please call the roll on the motion.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Would the clerk please read ordinance 20-2019 by title only?
Ordinance number 20-2019, an ordinance amending Chapter 96 miscellaneous regulations of the Code of Ordinances as it relates to trees, weeds, and shrubs.
This is the first reading. Are we voting on this?
First reading.
Okay. Thank you. So this will be on the agenda for the next meeting, right? For vote?
Yes.
Thank you.
7,
Next item, is there a motion? Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, I would move to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full and read by title only, resolutions number 17-2019 through and 18-2019.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we suspend the rules requiring the reading in full and read by title only resolutions numbers 17 and 18, 2019. Is there discussion?
Just that they were posted as required.
Clerk, please call the roll on the motion to suspend.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Herbie.
Yes.
The motion to suspend the rules on the resolution 17 and 18 passed 5-0. Next item on the agenda is item B, resolution number 17-2019. Would the clerk please read that resolution by title only?
Resolution number 17-2019, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Energy Alliances, Inc. to provide consulting services and expertise for developing and implementing an energy aggregation program for Forest Park residents and businesses.
Is there a motion, Mr. Burns?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move for the passage of resolution number 17-2019.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 2019. Is there a discussion, Mr. Burns?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The city has interviewed 2 energy consultants for the purposes of assisting the city in developing and implementing a residential energy aggregation informational campaign. If passed, the residents of Forest Park, by the residents of Forest Park in November, the research that the aggregation company has created would assist in that. The primary goal of this is to provide a lower energy cost to our residents. As stated, there were 2 firms that were interviewed, Affordable Gas and Electric, as well as Energy Alliance. And Energy Alliance was recommended based on its relationships with local municipalities and counties in nearby counties of this area, whereas the other agency just did not have that experience. And with that, I would urge the passage of Resolution 17-2019.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on 17-2019?
Johnson,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
Resolution 17-2019 passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is item C, Resolution 18-2019. Would the clerk please read this resolution by title only?
Resolution number 18-2019, a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Lebanon Ford Incorporated for the lease purchase of 3 police vehicles through the state of Ohio bidding process.
The motion, Mr. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move for the passage of Resolution 18-2019.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 18-2019. Any discussion, Mr. Burns?
Yes, thank you. The police department needs 3 new vehicles to replace 3 older vehicles that will eventually be sold at auction. We were able to obtain 3 new 2020 Ford all-wheel drive SUV police special vehicles from the Lebanon Ford, Inc. Off of the state bid list, thereby waivering all formal bidding. The total cost for the vehicles were approximately $112,000 and will be paid in full at the end of a 3-year lease. And with that, I would urge the adoption of Resolution 18-2019.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on Resolution 18-2019?
Moore,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Resolution 18-2019 passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda is item D, Resolution 19-2019. Would the clerk please read this resolution in full?
Resolution number 19-2019, a resolution to concur with the city manager's action to proceed with the demolition of a structure at 1142 Cary Lane, Forest Park, Ohio 45240. Whereas the home located at 11426 Cary Lane, Forest Park, Ohio 45240 became uninhabitable since May 22, 2017, and has since remained vacant, unfit for human habitation, and imminently dangerous to the public's health, safety, and welfare. And whereas city officials have to no avail made several attempts to notify and motivate the owners of the property to secure the property from children and intruders, and eliminate its existence as an unsafe public nuisance. And whereas on March 14, 2019, the building department issued an unsafe building order to Sumerel and Gerald Johnson. And whereas on March 14, 2019, a condemned place card was placed on the structure by the building department, providing public notice that said uninhabitable house is considered an unfit dwelling unit and that the structure is dangerous and unsafe. And whereas the property is in a state of deterioration and compliance with the unsafe building order has not been met, and whereas a notice of condemnation report of inspection and evaluation for the property was sent by certified mail to all interested parties on April 30th, 2019, and whereas the Forest Park Board of Building Appeals conducted a public hearing on June 11th, 2019, to determine if the structure at 11426 Cary Lane is subject to demolition by the building department and to consider any objections to the demolition, and thereupon determined that the recommendation to demolish be accepted. And whereas there is no evidence that the owners or other parties with a legal interest in the property will voluntarily comply with said unsafe building order or otherwise take the necessary action to eliminate the unsafe and unfit dwelling unit at 11426 Cary Lane, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Forest Park, Ohio. Section 1, that the council hereby declares a nuisance the structure located at 11426 Cary Lane, Forest Park, Ohio 45240, which is substantially damaged by abuse and neglect and has remained vacant since before May 22nd, 2017, unfit for human habitation and imminently dangerous to the public's health, safety, and welfare. And Section 2, that council hereby concurs with the city manager's action to proceed with the demolition and removal of the structure and contents located at 11426 Cary Lane, Forest Park, Ohio 45240. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force and take effect from and after its passage.
Is there a motion, Mr. Burns?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move for the passage of Resolution 19-2019.
Second.
Second, that we adopt Resolution 19-2019. Is there a discussion, Mr. Burns?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As noted in the resolution, this property has been in disrepair or vacant since 2017. We are 2 years since then. It has fallen into such disrepair that the city has deemed it uninhabitable and condemned. Having gone through all the necessary procedures to find the owner or the fiduciary for that property unsuccessfully, unfortunately, we must condemn and demolish that property. And having gone through all the necessary steps to inform, as well as have an open hearing, this is the direction that we're in. So with that, I would urge the passage of Resolution 19-2019.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on Resolution 19-2019?
Burns,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 19-2019 passes 5-0. Next is item E, Resolution 20-2019. Would the clerk please read this resolution in full?
Resolution number 20-2019, a resolution to amend Resolution 12-2019, confirming appointments to the 2019 Hamilton County Tax Incentive Review Council from the City of Forest Park. Whereas the Hamilton County Tax Incentive Review Council, TIRC, was established by the Hamilton County Commissioners to review the status of enterprise zone agreements granted to companies in return for their expansion in or relocation to our community. And whereas the City of Forest Park also presents information to the Tax Incentive Review Council on tax increment financing projects in our community to evaluate their effectiveness. And whereas Hamilton County and the City of Forest Park closely monitor enterprise zone and tax increment financing projects for compliance to guarantee that the interests of local taxpayers are protected. And whereas the City of Forest Park has been requested by the Hamilton County Office of Economic Development to submit 2 people for appointment to the 2019 Hamilton County Tax Incentive Review Council. And whereas City Council has passed an earlier resolution to designate our representatives to the Tax Incentive Review Council, but must amend that resolution due to a scheduling conflict for one of our appointees. And whereas both appointees must be residents of the City of Forest Park and approved by the Council of the City of Forest Park, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Forest Park, Ohio. Section 1, that the Council of the City of Forest Park hereby designates Mayor Charles Johnson and Economic Development Director Paul Brim to represent the City of Forest Park on the 2019 Hamilton County Tax Incentive Review Council. Section 2, this resolution shall be in full force and take effect from and after the earliest date allowed by law.
Is there a motion, Councilwoman Herbie?
I move adoption of resolution number 20-2019.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 20-2019. Is there a discussion?
Just briefly, we make an appointment annually of usually the Economic Development Commission liaison from council and the Economic Development Director, which would have been myself and Paul Brim. But this always is done before they set the schedule. Once the schedule came out, I realized I had a conflict I could not change. And so this resolution is to appoint Mayor Johnson in my stead, and I would urge adoption of this resolution.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on resolution 20-2019?
Herbie?
Yes.
Holt?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Resolution 20-2019 passes 5-0. Next item is item H, a motion. Councilwoman Herbie.
I would move to receive the general fund summary report as contained in the departmental reports.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we receive the general fund summary report as contained in the departmental reports. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion to receive the general fund summary report, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously, 5-0. Is there any further business to come before the body? Any further business to come before the body? Hearing none, meeting is adjourned.